Hello world, my name is Mr. Hello, and it's a pleasure to have you here today. I've been a developer for a while now, and a senior developer for part of that, leading teams that went on to win CS awards and build products used worldwide. Over that time, I've learned that while building everything from scratch can be rewarding, efficiency is just as important. So when I started building my VR space game, I didn't reinvent the wheel. I used something called an asset. In game development, an asset is a pre-made package. It could be code, art, or systems that you can bring into your project to speed up development. For most projects, they aren't a drop-in solution, but a foundation, something to build on. You keep the parts that work, replace the parts that don't, and add entirely new systems on top until it fits exactly what you need. Think of it like buying a stock car. You keep the frame, but swap the engine, transmission, suspension until it drives nothing like the original. You start with something solid, then rebuild the parts that matter most. In code, it's the same idea. The more complex your project, the more it makes sense to use what's available. Not as a finished product, but as a starting point, so you can focus on the unique systems that make your game stand out. Depending on the scope, it can be the difference between a product taking a month versus a year, or a year versus 5 years. You get the point. My starting point for this project was a Unity asset called Space Combat Kit, a single-player space combat framework with a strong foundation for ship movement, projectiles, and damage systems. From there, I rebuilt, customized, and extended it to fit my vision, adding VR, multiplayer, AI enemies, and custom systems you won't find in the original. Today I want to show you how I went from this to this. The first challenge was turning Space Combat Kit's single-player systems into a fully networked multiplayer experience. Using Photon Fusion, I rebuilt the ship's core systems to sync ship states, weapons, health, damage across players, making sure every projectile, hit detection event, and health update is network aware. That way, whether you're flying a fighter or on foot, the game works seamlessly in 3-player co-op. After that, I adapted the kit for VR. That meant overhauling the input to Unity's new input system so it supports desktop, controller, and VR. VR also brought challenges in cockpit interaction, aiming, and motion comfort, so I built VR-specific controls for piloting and managing ship systems. With VR and networking in place, the next step was AI. Space Combat Kit only comes with basic fighter AI using a finite state machine, an approach where AI switches between fixed states like patrol or attack. It works, but it's less flexible for complex scenarios. For on-foot gameplay, I integrated my own shooter AI from scratch and connected it directly to the kit's damage and health mechanics. For space combat, I converted the fighter AI to use behavior trees just like the on-foot. Behavior tree is like a more modular, decision-based system that makes it easier to coordinate with other AI types, reuse logic, and adjust behavior without rewriting the whole thing. Now, the enemy space fighters and on-foot enemies can work together in coordinated battles. Up until now, the systems I've shown were built on top of the kit in some way, but I've also created completely new mechanics that didn't exist in Space Combat Kit at all. First, I designed a generator mechanic where you control how energy is distributed between shields, armor, and weapons. For players, as a companion robot, you can swap for different loadouts. For ships, as an actual generator module you can upgrade. I also built downtime ship maintenance tasks, interactive systems players can complete to keep the crew happy and maintain ship performance. And one of my favorite additions is the window system. Not just a visual backdrop, but a way for you to experience the journey as part of the crew. You can look out and see the stars streak by as another player pilots the ship, or watch space battles unfold around you as you sprint from the engine room to the hangar bay. Normally in Unity, having a player with a rigid body inside another moving rigid body causes physics issues. It could be things like jitter, drift, or entire breaks. I solved that by building a custom rendering and camera system that makes the movement seamless in VR. So yes, the game started with Space Combat Kit, but that was just a starting point. Every system you see here, multiplayer, VR controls, AI integration, new gameplay mechanics, were designed and implemented on top of that foundation. This approach, using assets as a foundation, then customizing and integrating deeply, lets me focus on my development time and what makes my game unique. If you've ever wondered what making an asset your own looks like, well, it's a lot of rebuilding, a lot of testing, and just enough stubbornness to keep going. Next time I'll be diving into the downtime ship maintenance task more in depth. If you want to see more on how I'm building this game, you can subscribe to my channel, and if you found this interesting, liking and sharing helps me immensely. I'm Mr. Hello, and it's been a pleasure having you here.